Edmonton Oilers continue their 3-game homestand tonight against the New York Rangers, a team that has been lacking offense for much of this season. And offense is something the Oilers may have found Tuesday night against the Utah Mammoth. There was 5 goals in the second period, 5v5 goals at that. They hope to have turned a corner. This is the final game of Oiltober. Let's hope we end it with a W, folks. But hello, what up, and welcome to Pregaming with Bordzy, brought to you by Bet365. Download the app today because, say it with me, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. This evening, I am joined by a writer here at Oilersnation, Sean Panganiban. Pangsy, I realized earlier I called you Sean. I think it was the first time I've ever done that in my existence. Fantastic writer here at Oilersnation. And gentlemen, we're back in studio today for both shows, pre and post. Kind of back to our roots, it feels like. No dog patch this evening. They got an event going on. We will be there for much of the year, but Pangs, feels good to be back in studio. How you doing, pal?
Pretty good, pretty good. The vibes are high even before the show started, so I think it's going to set the precedent for the game tonight. So yeah, I'm feeling good.
It's Oiltober. It's the end of Oiltober. You showed me your hilarious Halloween costume you have lined up. Tomorrow on ONE, we're going to be all costumed up. I would love to talk positively about the Oilers while I'm possibly in Batman gear, talking in Batman voice for the entire show tomorrow. I did it a couple weekends ago. I will do it again, but let's get caught up into the chat because there he is, the most consistent man on earth. It's Austin. First comment says, Bordzy, you know what to do, baby. My ON fam, let's get fired up in here. Keep the momentum going. Build off the last game. Beers come, vibes high. No better place than to be right here with all of you. Fuck yeah, Austin. Absolutely, dude. 8 Angry Nuns says, you the man, Bordzy. I appreciate that. Fighting Amish says, live, laugh, love, Bordzy. LFG, Oilers, and Jays. Well, we'll get into that because my producer, Brett Holden, he's got to answer to some of the chat here. Parker's in. Rico getting his silver stick tonight. Absolutely. The Oilers going to commemorate his 1,000 games in the NHL. Gets a silver stick. Did you hear about what the Oilers got him?
No.
They got the team a nice fancy-ass bottle of wine, a beautiful racing helmet in Edmonton Oilers colors. But I guess, once again, I didn't totally know this, but he's a huge F1 and NASCAR kind of guy. And oh yeah, they got him a Rolex on top of that. Tonight, he gets his silver stick. There's only been, 400 or so, I believe, players that have played over 1,000 games in the show. Shout out Rico. He's also been pretty damn good lately, finding some chemistry with the kids. Ogs and Logs says, here we go. Oil up. Bordzy's in the chat, says, thanks, guys. Appreciate the love. Gotta like that. Knoblock's in. Another Knoblock masterclass incoming. Hey, he went 11-7 last game, and let me tell you, it worked for the Edmonton Oilers. So hopefully we do get another masterclass. Backyard Burgers is in. He says, oh, I think the camera just died, Brett, or something. Backyard Burgers, Pangers and Bordzy, unstoppable duo. Let's go, gentlemen. The streak starts here. Cup, yeah, says Lance Kane.
Cup, yeah.
And then Coombsy's in and says hockey time. He's also joined us in studio today. And then there's Shooter McGavin says, hi, everyone. That's Doug Waite, and I will never, ever hear anything else. Doug Waite, do you remember him in the chat last season?
He got booted one time, I think, or you asked him to turn it down.
He gets too horny from time to time, especially on this show. But hey, Shooter, we're happy to have you here. So, gentlemen, we got to talk about it. Especially the one behind the camera back there. The Toronto Blue Jays are up 3-2 in the World Series. Pinch me, because it feels like I'm dreaming. I feel like in my entire adult lifehood, especially, all I've seen are my teams really lose, except for the New England Patriots, of course, but that's one that I was born into. But the Jays, 1 game away from the World Series, and they get to do it game 6 and 7 back in Toronto at Rogers Place. The idea that you're going to have Friday night, possible clinch. It's also Halloween, extra spooky for the Toronto Blue Jays. And yesterday's game was awesome. Trey Savage was absolutely dealing that whole game. I understand the Dodgers have an all-star lineup, a Hall of Fame lineup. And that rookie, 22 years old, I believe, was lining them up, knocking them down left, right, and center. It was incredible. And I had an awesome bro out. I don't know who this man was. It was a stranger yesterday. So I, of go to the Dominican on Monday for 7 days. You won't be pre-gaming with Bordzy. You'll be pre-gaming with other people. Well, I'm living it up in an all-inclusive resort. But I was out at Southgate Mall yesterday trying to do some shopping before. There I am, glued to the Jays. I got my AirPods in. I'm with my girlfriend. We're out and about. I believe it was in the food court. I'm outside by myself right as the game starts. Davis Schneider, first pitch of the game, goes yard. I'm absolutely freaking the fuck out behind the scenes there. But like quietly, as nobody else is really watching what's going on because I'm watching on my phone. Then as Vladdy goes up, he then 2 pitches, dinger goes yard. I start losing it a little bit. And I look up. There's another dude who's clearly with his girlfriend, also glued into the game with his AirPods on. He's losing his mind. He realizes what I'm losing. We walk over and high five so hard. We shook all of Southgate Mall. I don't know who you are, but that was a moment I will never forget from that guy. It was an all-time. But Panger, the Blue Jays, you were talking. Hey, I'm a casual Blue Jays guy for the regular season. I lock in September. Blue Jays fever is running rampant right now.
Absolutely. I am an Oilers guy, but I'm on this Blue Jays bandwagon. I'm maybe the conductor of the Blue Jays bandwagon.
Plenty of room on the wagon, right?
It's been amazing watching these games. And over the last 2.5 weeks, I've been researching stats and plays and the players. Addison Badger, fun fact, my middle name is Addison, so he is now my favorite player. Amazing catch last night. And my wife is on board too. Her and I are watching, sending each other memes and stats. It's been an amazing time watching the Blue Jays.
Vladimir Guerrero has been otherworldly. I saw a stat going into yesterday's game, going into where he then went yard, was batting .417 in 15 postseason games with what I believe it was 7 home runs, and that in no other 15-game stretch of his career has he hit for that good of an average or that many dingers. He adds another one yesterday on one Shohei Ohtani. That is where I bring in my producer, Brett Holden, resident LA Dodgers fan. Bert, we're talking a lot of crap about Shohei Ohtani getting the mound. Obviously, the Dodgers won, which is pivot. Game 3s are always pivotal in series, but especially going 18 innings, it really felt like whoever was going to lose that might lose the series. Once again, job's not finished. But Bert, you were very confident with Shohei Ohtani going to the mound. The Jays got the best of him. The chat today on ONE really wanted you to at least answer to them. So, Bert, how you feeling? Down 3-2 in the World Series.
Yeah. Came into the series pretty confident. Came in and said, you know what, Dodgers in 4. And then game 1 happened, and I said, you know what, I'm happy the Jays got their moment, happy they got their win.
Heard a lot of that online.
Yeah. The Toronto Blue Jays are going to win the World Series. And okay.
Job's not finished. But I like hearing that.
Now, I work for BJN. I watch a lot of Blue Jays. I grew up playing baseball, and here in this country, if you play baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays have their hands all over Canadian baseball, Baseball Canada. They're all over it. So I couldn't miss it. That's all they had was Toronto Blue Jays. It was everywhere. So do love and appreciate the Toronto Blue Jays and the fact that they are going to win this World Series. I will be standing there with everybody else cheering with my Canada baseball jersey on.
Right on.
There we go.
Cool.
I like that acceptance. Once again, job's not finished. There's no jinxes. They got to finish this job. The Dodgers, still an incredibly good squad, but it's been nice watching Brett go through the roller coaster of emotions this whole World Series, because I do genuinely believe what he's saying. He is a big Blue Jays guy, Canadian baseball guy. Guy watches more Jays than I do during the regular season. I'm willing to say that, but it's been nice that he had to get to this point. Shout out to Jays. Did they finish it off tomorrow, or is it going 7? I personally think this series has 7 games written all over it. It's been so dramatic. There's been so much. It's got to go 7 now. Would love it if it finished with a spooky World Series W. What do you think?
I think if Yamamoto pulls a Kyler Yamamoto, starts off hot and then just fizzles out, then the Blue Jays are taking it home tonight or tomorrow.
Kyler Yamamoto catching fucking strays right there. Bert, what about you?
Yamamoto is really good. I think I have the same feeling about Yamamoto as I do with Trey Savage. When I saw Trey Savage in that lineup, and it was funny because I sat there and went, the Dodgers will win this one. We'll be fine. And then I sat there and saw Savage was starting. I totally forgot he was starting. I was like, oh, shit, this is going to be something special. And it was, I mean, first of all, 12 strikeouts as a rookie, breaking a rookie record. That is impressive, beyond impressive in itself. I think on the pitching sense, and I don't think this is a hot take, it was more impressive than Ohtani's 10 strikeout in 6 innings pitching performance, just the pitching side of it. So I think that was special. I just don't think the Dodgers bats are there. Like you asked me about Mookie Betts before, and you're asking me if Mookie Betts is really the star. Yeah, he is. And he looks like shit. Like he looks really fucking bad, and it's not good. So their bats just aren't there. I mean, Andy Paw hasn't had a base hit since the Vietnam War, which is insane. It's too bad. It is too bad. But I'm so pumped for baseball in Canada. This is the biggest thing for the sport that I grew up playing in Canada in my life. So I think this is awesome. I think the Blue Jays will win. The reason why I think they will win it in Game 6, 2019, Toronto Raptors. Game 6, 1992, World Series, Toronto Blue Jays, Game 6, 1993, Toronto Blue Jays, Game 6. I think they get it done.
There's that. There's also a line of thinking. Their Maynard says here, it's going to be such a Toronto thing when they don't. Hey, that's a Leafs thing. I'm a Raptors guy, and I will not take that slander because they got it done. Shooter McGavin also said, Brett is doing reverse psychology. When you started that bit, I thought you were going quiet voice to just bring it right back up and be like, Dodgers in 7. Tells you, we may have broken the man. A lot of people in here, though, Brett, they still love and appreciate you. That, though, that's enough. We're done with baseball talk. We'll move on Saturday. Hopefully on pregame, and we're talking about a World Series dub, or there's going to be a lot more Blue Jays talk on Saturday's pregaming because we'll be pregaming during the Blue Jays game. So bear with me, folks. It's Blue Jay fever, like I mentioned, but a night off for the Jays means that we shift our focus to the Edmonton Oilers. And while I've been wrong before, I do think this could be the stretch here where the Edmonton Oilers start to find their game. There were a lot of encouraging signs in the final 40 minutes of that hockey game on Tuesday against the Red Hot Mammoth, a team that had won 7 games in a row. And I would argue, if you take out, and you can't do that, the Darnell Nurse miscues and the Stuart Skinner miscue, you felt pretty good about the Oilers' overall game. The first period, defensive structure-wise, was okay, except for those 2 glaring Darnell Nurse mistakes. But in the second period, there was a message sent from head coach Chris Knobloch. We saw some tweets online basically saying Nobby came in. I guess it was started by one of the players. Yeah, there it is from Rashog on your screen. Sounds like leadership group had some strong words between periods, followed up by Knobloch as well. Good response tonight. And then Gregor, which I also think is hilarious. He says the quote, Knobber, and then in parentheses puts Knobloch, as if we didn't know who Ty Emerson was talking about. Knobber came in after the first period and told us we had 16 turnovers at the blue line. Simplicity, you've heard me say that word a lot through 10 games this season. Simplicity in the second period was the key. They're a good transition team, and we didn't give them as much. And after we got some 5v5 goals, that was the Oilers defenseman Tyler Emerson, of course. So in that second period, you could tell the Oilers had a much more simplistic approach. It was put pucks on net, crash to crease, drive the lanes. A multitude of goals there were just rebounds, either off of Vejmelka's pad or a shot got blocked. That's how Leon Draisaitl and Ty Emerson's goals both were scored. And it felt like the Oilers were a little bit done with overpassing. They defended well against that Utah team, which we know loves to use their speed and can kill you if you make mistakes. The Edmonton Oilers kind of nipped everything in the bud, starting 22 seconds into the second period. And hey, I get it. There's inconsistencies. It's Oiltober, but we're at the end of Oiltober. This is where we turn that page. And maybe, oh, maybe the Oilers found something in their game in the second period, because you can argue those second period Oilers, when they play like that in their true A game, I don't know if anybody in the NHL can beat them. Pangs, what'd you think of the effort in the final 40 on Tuesday?
Many moons for now. When the Connor McDavid era is done, there needs to be studies on why does it take someone doing a big speech in the intermission to get this team rallying. But like you said, that was one of their it was their best period of the entire season. I think they scored 5 goals. Like you said, hard. They're working hard, got pucks to the net, and did the workman-like work to get those goals. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that can kickstart the offense and start to see a little bit more consistency from the Oilers here.
Final Buzzer says, a grumpy knobber is kind of scary. I've never totally seen it before. I'd be interested to know what Nobby yelling at the boys totally sounds like. Lauren's in says simplicity equals no overthinking. Clap it up for the Edmonton Oilers. 10 games in. Hey, maybe they found something. And they may have found something in their lineup, because yet again tonight, the Oilers are expected to go 11-7. No changes from the lineup on Tuesday night. I would also argue, why would you make any changes? Maybe just Noah Philp, because I want to see him in there. Maybe the Thomas X swap, but we can discuss that. Expected tonight, top line of Nuge, McDavid, Andrew Mangiapane, with then your second line, Vasily Podkolzin, with Leon and Jack Roslovic, who has been looking nicey lately for these Oilers. Your third line, Matt Savoy with Rico and Trent Frederick. Then your fourth extra forwards there, Ice Howard with David Tomasek. And then the deep pairings, going back to our roots. Matthias Ekholm with Bouchard, Darnell Nurse with Jake Wallman, Brett Kulak with Ty Emerson, and Troy Stetcher going to work in as that 7th defenseman. And mentioned, why would you change it? Because that was the best the Oilers have looked 5v5. I'm willing to say it, all season long. They were performing both ends of the ice. I thought defensively, they looked good. We saw, this is one of the benefits to 11-7. So in that first period, Darnell Nurse makes 2 brutal errors that immediately result in goals against. And when you go 11-7, you got an extra D-man. Nobby was able to, in the second period, sit Darnell for the first 6 minutes of that period. And as we all saw, the Edmonton Oilers started to find their game. Also, Darnell, after that sit-down, he didn't have any giveaways for the rest of that hockey game. So I feel like everybody maybe, I don't totally understand it, right? It's maybe everybody gets in their rhythm a little bit more. I have the argument, and I had to take today. Me and Brett were talking it out because I said, is this just kind of a dumb take? But I don't think it is. That 11-7, a lot of people dislike it. We're talking about it on ONE today, and I get it. It's not your regular systematic 12-6 approach that you see, but who actually cares? Because the Edmonton Oilers, they've been doing this for a multitude of years now. It isn't just Chris Knobloch. It wasn't just Jay Woodcroft. Everybody in the McDry era has been utilizing 11-7. And I will argue, we've seen results from this team for a very long time. And some people make the argument that, well, 11-7, especially when you add it to the fact that McDavid and Draisaitl are killing penalties this year, that they're going to play more minutes, you're going to put more miles on them, and that by the end of the season and playoffs, they're going to be worn down. To that, I could understand it, but I don't. They're NHL athletes. They are paid to be out there, and they get paid the most to be out there the most. Brett said to me earlier today, you're expected to play all 82. You get out there as much as the coach asks you to do. Once again, I don't know if the Oilers will go 11-7 for the entire season. I highly doubt it, but I feel like there's benefits, especially early when struggling. You can sit a guy like Darnell Nurse just for a couple of minutes, let him gain his composure. When Connor and Leon are feeling it, you get to put them out on the ice even more. And I don't know if it surprised people, the Oilers are better when Connor and Leon are on the ice a little bit more often. Panger, where do you come out on the 11-7 debate?
Yeah, absolutely. Do I think the 11-7 strategy is a long-term solution? Like you said, absolutely not. But I think they use the 11-7 as a tool in their toolbox when things aren't clicking. Yeah. And maybe if they don't want to interchange and sit guys, hey, let's try the 11-7 route. And like you said, it allows them to mix and match and use players that are feeling it that game. Maybe, hey, let's double shift Connor McDavid. Hey, maybe someone like Jack Roslovic's playing good on the second line. Let's put him up with McDavid for a shift or two. So it's a tool in the toolbox, not a long-term solution, but it's working right now.
I think it is for the Edmonton Oilers. And hey, maybe you just need to use it to get out of Oiltober and get on into November. But yeah, Final Buzzer agrees 11-7 isn't a long-term solution. Even to that, I still say, why not? Like they play a lot of minutes anyways as is, and you see it sometimes in the Nobby years. You've seen the fourth line play 6 minutes a night. Once again, I guess that it's I understand it isn't your stereotypical, your prototypical approach, but for the Oilers, when you're trying to find your game, when you are struggling, it's not a bad thing to lean on your best players, and it's not a bad thing to insulate guys like Darnell Nurse when they're clearly struggling and cannot find their game. We'll see how long they keep it going, but they're going to roll with it tonight against the New York Rangers. They're on game 3 of a 4-game Western road trip. It's been a very weird start, to say the least, for the Rangers, I would say. After they missed the playoffs last season, there was some hype and some hope that they could find it. Remember, they're not that long removed from being the President's Trophy winners, but feels like, forgive the language here, but feels like buttholes are a little bit tight in New York right now. The offense has been sputtering real bad. It's been a lack of offense. There's also their weird home road splits that have been going on. The Rangers have yet to win a game at Madison Square Garden. They're 0-4-1. They rank goals for at home, dead last in the entire NHL, goals against 14th. But on the road, they're 4-1-1, goals for 17th, goals against second. And there you see it overall on the season. Doesn't take a genius to look at those numbers. They are lacking offense. 31st overall in goals for, second in goals against, 28th on the power play, and I believe that says what, 5th? Yeah, 5th on the PK, 89% for these Rangers. It's been a weird year, and I say the lack of offense is the most notable thing. Shout out Michael Menzies. You got to be reading this on the Oilers Nation website. The pre-scout reports that he's been doing are fantastic, and I mean, he mentioned some things that the fancy stats tell you the Rangers are due and that they have just been getting snake bitten so far this season. I mean, you look at their star players. Artemi Panarin in 11 games has 7 points. He's got 2 goals on the season. He's on my fantasy team. Brett, I benched his ass this evening. We talked about it. Zibanejad had 6 points in 11 games. JT Miller, the new captain, 6 points. Lafreniere, we had Johnny Lazarus today on our show, Oilers Nation Every Day, co-host of Morning Cup of Hockey. Got a good plug there. But he said Alex Lafreniere has been invisible. He has not been a first overall draft pick type selection. And he had a tweet a couple years back that he said he would be a 100-point player later on in his career. Johnny with a bad take about the Rangers. Who would have ever thought so? Sorry, he's catching strays. But goaltending has been solid. Defensively, good enough, I would argue. But Panger, they be lacking offense here for the New York Rangers.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking a look at the stats here. Yeah, you mentioned Artemi Panarin, 7 points in 11 games. He's been one of the most productive players of the last decade. And for him to not be over a point per game, that's a little bit different. So like you mentioned, it kind of seems like it's a matter of time before that offense wakes up. Here's hoping it's not tonight, though.
Yeah, Stuart Skinner, he's got excellent career numbers against these Rangers. And let me remind you, he had an S word 2 weeks ago for the Edmonton Oilers against these very Rangers. But yeah, Artemi Panarin last year, I believe he had I think it was 89 points in 80 games. He is not on that pace this far. And in a UFA contract season for Panarin, we keep talking about it. We love thinking about the Edmonton Oilers and who they could acquire at the trade deadline. And, you know, you're looking at your Buffalo Sabres squads, trying to pick from the scrap heap. You talk about the Rangers that if they were to continue or maybe fall down considerably out of a playoff spot, could Artemi Panarin be a guy that gets dealt at the deadline? Who knows?
We'd have 2 Breadmans then.
Oh my God, we'd have 3 Breadmen too. All right, I'm out on that. That's too much bread. That's too much gluten for me. I'm out on that. Let's go now to our need to know information, courtesy of Will Hawk Beef Jerky, because only the finest tasting meat products earn the sweet, sweet Will Hawk name. Made from 100% Alberta beef, their jerky is aged, seasoned, smoked, and marinated to savory perfection. They gladly fill orders of any size, and you can find their jerky, sausage, and other products exclusively out of their Leduc location. Also, owners of one hell of a logo, Panger. Horns up when we're talking about Will Hawk Beef Jerky. I also might even get horned up for Will Hawk Beef Jerky if you were to ask me. So the Oilers, we talked about it. We showed you on the screen a little bit earlier. They are going 11-7 tonight, which means Noah Philp will be staying out of the lineup yet again. Troy Stetcher will be the 7th defenseman. Alec Regula, still not officially ready to go for the Edmonton Oilers. Jason, that is, had a tweet earlier today mentioning they're hopeful It could maybe be Saturday for Alec Regula to return to the lineup. That's Saturday's game, Rogers Place against the Chicago Blackhawks. So you can be hopeful for that. I'm curious how they will work these defense pairings when they come back with a fully healthy back end with your Stetchers and your Embersons and your Regulas. We did mention off the top, Adam Henrique is playing. Well, he's not playing in his 1,000th game. I should rather say they're celebrating his 1,000th game in the NHL. He will receive a silver stick. Fun fact, as I mentioned earlier, team got him a bottle of wine, a rollie, and a racing helmet with Edmonton Oilers colors. The Oilers, they beat the Rangers, this very squad, back on October 14th. It was a 2-0 victory on the back of, I'm not going to say the S word again, it's a Stuart Skinner S word, and this will be the final meeting between these two teams this season. Other injury news we got. Zach Hyman is not expected to be back this week. Nobby said he's not going to be ready for his expected November 1st return date, which would be this Saturday. Nobby also added at least a week, which in my brain, I know Nobby tells me that means 2 weeks at the very minimum to me, because he tends to do this, and it says officially on his injury designation week to week. So who knows? Could even be more than that. Hyman's been skating with the team. He's been practicing as the extra forward. He's looked good. Once again, it's a wrist hand injury, so I would hope that his skating looks good, but he's zipping around the ice in practice. We're all seeing the clips online. There you see his numbers last season, which is wild. You know, that's a down year for Zach Hyman with 27 goals in 73 games. You know what I like? The 7-game winning goals that was second on the team last year. And I mean, there's one thing that the Edmonton Oilers, I would argue so far this season, they've lacked physicality. There's definitely been not as much hitting as you would like. We are 11 games in. We still have yet to see a fight for the Edmonton Oilers. And while that isn't Zach Hyman's game, the physicality, the hitting, we saw it in the NHL playoffs. He was setting records for the most hits in every series, going on, so forth. It's going to be a little bit longer here for Zach Hyman. Who knows? Panger, do you believe Nobby when he says at least a week? Does that mean week? What does that actually mean to you?
That means he's not too sure. I think it's definitely going to be longer than a week, in my opinion. But the good thing is it's so darn early in the season that, you know what, let him take the time that he needs to fully rest. We don't want to rush him back too soon, because where we need Zach Hyman especially is in the playoffs. So take your time, Zach, and recover fully.
Maynard's in. He says Stauffer says the 15th. Shooter says Hyman is out till December. No one believes me. I'll tell you, I don't believe Chris Knobloch. That's the only person that I don't believe when it comes to these injury designations that he's given out. And then finally, Stuart Skinner will get to start tonight. He's got a 3-3-1 record on the year. 241, 898 save percentage. That's okay. It's at least better than Calvin Pickard's. Hopefully get that back up above 900. And there's reasons to believe he will, because Stu has owned the New York Rangers in his career. 4-1 record, 1.80 goals against average with a 941 save percentage. And I will remind you again, is coming off an S word against these Rangers back on October 14th. For the Rangers side of need to know, they own a 4-5-2 record on the season, 7th in the Metro. That's wild. 24th overall in the show. They're in the midst of a 4-game roadie. This is game number 3. They're 1-2-1 in their last 4 games. They lost 3-1 to Montreal at home, 6-5 to the San Jose Sharks in overtime at home. Macklin Celebrini put home a hat trick in that one. And then the team that had lost, I believe, 8 games in a row, the Calgary Flames, beat these Rangers 5-1.
Wow.
So that's not the team. You don't want to be the team that lets the Calgary Flames snap their 8-game losing streak. But then their last game on Tuesday, they did actually, and I'll say it for them, shut out Vancouver Canucks in that hockey game by a score of 2-0. However, that was Jonathan Quick in between the pipes, not one Igor Shesterkin, who will get the start tonight for the Rangers, 2-4-1 record. However, he's got a 2.25 goals against with a 916 save percentage. And get this, in his career, it's the opposite. It's like Shesterkin and Skinner did a little Freaky Friday action from what you would actually think. Shesterkin in his career is 1-3 against the Oilers with a 3.00 goals against and an 886 save percentage. Brett, I see the Super Gremlin was in the chat. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be on Skinner's ass tonight. He'll be here for post-game Can you believe that? Doesn't that sound nuts to you that somehow, some way, Stuart Skinner is the guy that owns the Rangers and Shesterkin gets owned by the Oilers?
Could be one of those things. Maybe Igor Shesterkin gets a little shaken in his boots when Connor McDavid comes barreling down on him. And wasn't it Shesterkin that goal where McDavid like deked out 5 guys with like 10 seconds left or something like that?
I think it was Georgiev.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
That makes more sense.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Who knows? Maybe he's scared of Connor.
Hey, maybe somebody in the chat can help me out with that one. So there's your need to know info, courtesy of Wilhock Beef Jerky. And now I'm curious, play along in the chat. Obviously, you too as well. You got a storyline or a key to victory for me? And this sounds too simple. This is all I want today. Score first for the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton has scored first once in their last 8 games. There's 11 total games they've played on the season. They're 3-0-1 when they score first, because we've seen it way too much lately where the Oilers go down early. Hey, don't get me wrong. It's awesome to live bet the comeback on Bet365, but I would love a little pedal to the metal from the opening puck drop. We saw it to start the second period. Took 22 seconds against the Utah Mammoth for them to get on board. Let's have that pump-up speech before we have the opening face-off, and let's try and get out to an early lead. Chris Knobloch was even vocal about it as well. He had a great quote, got it here in front of me. He said, "It's great seeing strong pushes in the second and third period, but I'd like us to have a lead and be able to play some good defensive hockey. I think it's important that we get off to a good start." He then went on to say, "What is it with the slow starts? I'm not exactly sure. You'd think if they did know, they would have fixed it by now. It's just, I'm chalking it up to Oiltober." Once again, final game of Oiltober. We've seen the Oilers play their A game at points. So if you can play that in the first period, I even joked to Brett earlier. I went, hey, if you're not going to give me a full 60, at least give me the first 20 and the final 20. You can take a nap in the second. Nobby, I know you got this on the room. Don't do that. But my key to victory, my storyline, everything I'm watching for, everything I'm hoping for is for the Oilers to grab an early lead, get in Shesterkin's face. Got good numbers against him. He's had good numbers this year, but we'll get into it later. Oilers Nation goalie reporter Liam Horban had some good breakdowns on Chesty. Get in his crease, get in the kitchen, get in the dirty areas. Maybe one of those greasy ones early would be a sight for sore eyes for this Oilers team, Panger. Do you agree with that? Or do you have another storyline key to victory for me?
I got another storyline. Something that I'm going to be watching for is that second line of Leon Draisaitl, Vasily Podkolzin, and Jack Roslovic. It took Roslovic a few games to get his legs going, just because he missed training camp preseason. But over the last few games, he's looked amazing. You guys with the nation vacation in Vancouver, he sniped one. He's got a quick release. That line against the Mammoth, they had a 70% shots for percentage and generated 2 goals. So you have all the ingredients there. You got the chef and Leon Draisaitl making passes, scoring. You got the hard worker and Vasily Podkolzin getting the puck to the skilled guys, and then you got a one-shot scorer in Jack Roslovic. I'm looking forward to that line tonight.
I think it's interesting if you take a look at this board. Shots, he's third on the team amongst forwards, but he's also third on the team amongst forwards at 5v5 time on ice. The only 2 that he's behind in both of these stats are Connor and Leon.
You can tell that Nobby likes what he's seeing from the guy. I have really liked what I've seen from Jack Roslovic. Jack Roslovic. JJ Roslovic, not JJ Redick, JJ Roslovic. And this is going to be his 10th game of the season. We were talking about it on Oilers Nation every day. We had Rob Schremp on a week or 2 back, and we asked him about it. How long does it take for you to get adjusted to a new team, to a new squad? And he said, regardless of switching teams, switching leagues, switching anything, you got to give a guy 10 games. Well, tonight is going to be the 10th game for Jack Roslovic. And I'd argue over the weekend, was a little sauced up on the nation vacation, but I thought Roslovic was one of the more noticeable Oilers forwards. He is exactly as advertised to me, a speedy, crafty, skilled forward who can kind of play with anyone because his game's very, I don't know, you can understand you can predict what his type of game is going to be. And especially this season for a team like the Oilers that has struggled to shoot the puck, rip the pill when it's on your stick. You mentioned it, that Vancouver game. That was my side. That was my section. I had a great view at that goal. It was off his stick, damn fast, top corner, looked beautiful. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Jack Roslovic. And there was a lot of conversation that I believe his 14 trade list kicks in November 1st. There was, discussion. Oh, was that tied to Zach Hyman's November 1st return date? Well, now that we know Hyman is going to be pushed back, at least a week, according to Chris Knobloch. Jack Roslovic, your runway to find your spot, to solidify it next to Leon Draisaitl and Vasily Podkolzin, the time is now, brother, and I think he's done a great job the last couple games at solidifying that spot.
Absolutely. I think with Jack Roslovic, if he stays on that second line with Podkolzin and Draisaitl, he's essentially replacing the spot that Victor Arvidsson had last year. And at points last year with that second line, they played a little bit too perimeter. And with Jack Roslovic last game, he split the C's, split the defenseman, took the puck to the middle of the net. And I'm liking what I'm seeing, and he's feeling it.
He had 2 separate partial breakaways in that last hockey game. He finished with 0 points. That's why you can't be a box score hunter. That's why you got to watch the games with your eyes.
It's funny you mentioned Roslovic getting points and like with new teams. Liam sent me on a faux pas mission today. I asked him, what's one thing you want to know about Jack Roslovic? And Liam said, how long it takes for him to get a point on his new team whenever he changes teams. I was like, sounds good. I'll do it. He thought I was kidding.
He actually did.
I did do it.
Nice.
And it's actually kind of funny when you take a look at the numbers when he actually gets his points on his new team. Every single time he joined a new team, he would get a point by game 3. Carolina, Columbus, New York, Edmonton, all 4 of those teams, he's gotten a point by game 3. And a goal has followed soon after. I also have the notes. I'm pretty sure I have the notes that I sent to Liam as well. The other weird thing about him scoring goals or getting points with teams that he recently joins is that almost immediately after, he'll have like a point streak. Wow. So in Carolina, when he scored his first goal, first point and first goal, he had 2 straight games with a goal. With the Rangers, he had a 4-game point streak, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. And then with the Columbus Blue Jackets was very interesting. Had his first goal by game 5, first point by game 3, had a 6-game point streak with 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. So
don't let the kid get hot.
Don't let the kid get hot.
Don't let the kid get hot. Let's pull it up one more time here. We just did get confirmation for the lines, and the home team lines are brought to you by Oodle Noodle. Download the app today, available on the Google Play Store or the App Store. And once you do that, you can sign up, can start earning loyalty rewards points. I keep mentioning it, getting older. It's basically the modern man's couponing, is getting apps for every single place you can go eat food. I'm about that life. Make your food earn you more food, and you can do that at Oodle Noodle. Also, when you get either a regular box or a premium box for $2, a toonie, you can add 2 green onion cakes, 5 spring rolls, and 6 deep fried wontons. Had to remember the numbers of those, and I was like, you're not going to get 6 green onion cakes. You're getting 2, but that's an unreal deal, regardless of premium or regular box. Bert, pull it up. Final time here. Lineup this evening for the Edmonton Oilers. It is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with Connor McDavid and Andrew Mangiapane. Vasily Podkolzin with Leon Draisaitl and Jack Roslovic. Third line of Matt Savoy with Adam Rico Henrique playing or receiving his silver stick for playing 1,000 games. And then it's Freddie to round out that trio. Fourth line duo, Ice Howard with Tommy Smokes. Your deep pairing, what? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, these are the wrong ones. So it is going back to Evan Bouchard with Matthias Ekholm, Darnell Nurse with Jake Wallman, Kulak with MB, and Troy Stetcher as the 7th defenseman.
To be clear, that's what they have on Daily Face-Off, so don't crucify me.
That's good producing back there. You're only your company man. We got a giant Daily Face-Off sign literally like 5 feet away from me. That's a big-ass sign for DFO, so we love them. The only thing I want to talk about, Connor and Leon, I thought had arguably their best games of the season. Leon Draisaitl had his best game of the season, in my opinion. McDavid, he was all over the ice on Tuesday, scored 2 goals. One of them, yes, was an empty netter, but he was all over it. He was electric from the start. He was driving the middle of the ice. It was kind of everything you wanted to see. And then Leon Draisaitl looked awesome offensively, looked incredible defensively, and I don't understand if it takes screaming at a linesman who won't drop the puck during the faceoff dot for Leon to get engaged in games, but he was a different animal. He looked like Selke Leon Draisaitl. He was back checking like crazy. He looked like pissy Leon at points. So shout out that linesman, whoever that was. You took one for the team. But I think Leon, it's crazy to say this. Don't clip this. He has 8 goals, I believe. He has 8 goals, 13 points in 11 games. And I could argue he hasn't been MVP Leon Draisaitl so far this year. He was robbed last season by Connor Hellebuck. I will never get over that because I had him plus 425 for MVP future. Leon, we all know he's capable of it. He's still getting stats. He's scoring goals like crazy. But what we saw in that game against Tuesday against the Mammoth, that's the whole Leon Draisaitl package. Back checking, defending, stick lifts in, just everything. The backhand passes were looking extra insane for Leon Draisaitl. Hopefully that continues throughout. We got out of Oiltober here.
Yeah. To the start of the season, Leon Draisaitl has some uncharacteristic giveaways too. And that's not normally like Leon Draisaitl. And he even admitted, he's like, I'm not playing the best that I'm playing, but yet he's atop the leaders in goal scoring. So we still have not seen the best of Leon Draisaitl. And yeah, once he dials it in, we're going to see like a dominant force that he can be.
And then final one, Rico is getting celebrated. And I think he deserves his flowers. We had a clip go out recently. This season, Rico's been a different level for this Edmonton Oilers squad. He has been more consistent. He's had more of an offensive threat. He's just been around it more. He's been more noticeable. And then you add on that he's, the leader in the room. He's old man Rico on the squad, and everybody loves him. You're pairing him with guys like Ice Howard. We saw the last goal that Ice Howard scored on Tuesday against the Mammoth. Great play from Rico behind the net. Often Rico, in his tenure here for the Edmonton Oilers, he doesn't have the point production. If you're box score hunting, you're not going to find that for Adam Henrique. And maybe even last season, some of those defensive intangibles, they weren't maybe what you wanted them to be. I feel like this season, Adam Henrique has been everything you could possibly want out of your 3-4C bottom 6 guy. Can play any role, kills penalties, can be on your PP2. Shout out Rico. He's deserved his 1,000 stick. Brett, remember how many OEL jokes we made last year about the silver stick? Can't make any of those tonight about Rico. Let's go now. Goaltending report brought to you by Odd Company Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Perfect for game day. Perfect for every day of the week. You can find them 2 Odd Company locations in the Edmonton area, or go to liquorconnect.com and find out which local liquor stores are carrying these beautiful, delicious cans. Bert, pull it up here for me. The tail of the tape. Stuart Skinner, 3-3-1 record with a 241 goals against, an 898 save percentage with 1 SO. And then Igor Shesterkin, 241, 225 goals against with a 916 save percentage and 1 shutout. I'm willing to say it for him. Stuart Skinner, he's coming off the W on Tuesday night. He made 20 of 23 saves. It was an 870. He was solid in the third period, but yet again, there was the big gaffe, the mistake behind the net, unable to corral the puck, and then kind of took the long route to get back into his crease. Before he knew it, it was back in the net. Shout out the Oilers for finding a way to bounce back from that, because they were down 2-0. They climbed back to tie it. You have that go down. It can be incredibly deflating, but they battled back, and so did Stuart Skinner. I pointed out on After Dark, the Edmonton Oilers killed 2 late penalties in the third period against the Mammoth, an unreal offense that's been red hot lately. Stuart Skinner was their best penalty killer because he made some big saves. And then, hey, he did it against the Rangers 2 weeks ago. He stopped 30 of 30. And as I mentioned before, 4-1 career record, 1.80, 941 save percentage. Looking for a big Stu performance tonight.
Yeah, last time I was here, you and I were talking about Stuart Skinner. He's making the side-to-side saves. He's making the high-danger saves. And
kind
then
of stopped.
Fast forward a week, and now we're talking about the blunder that he had behind the net against the Utah Mammoth. Stuart Skinner, the positive is that it's early, but he still needs to find his consistency. And I think for him in this season, the leash is short. He needs to start turning the page to find a little bit more consistency. He could start it tonight.
Yeah, I could be down for some of that. Would you agree? Yes, we were talking about he was moving laterally. He was awesome. I kept making the joke, 15 pounds. Holy shit, I should lose some. Felt like over the weekend, especially in that Seattle game. Once again, The 3 goals I think Seattle scored were all like 2-on-1s, counteracting, coming back in an odd man rush. But Stuart Skinner was back kind of flopping around like a fish, a little bit unstable. We saw the Logan Cooley goal, the first one on Tuesday night, where he just kind of lost his net, lost his crease. Style that in, Stu. We need to pull that back a little bit. On the other side, Igor Shesterkin. Yeah, he's good. He's pretty good at hockey. I don't know what to tell you. For some reason, and I get it, the Oilers' offense is lethal. The way I think about it is I have so many memories of the Oilers getting goalied by absolute fucking nobodies. Then you got a household name in Igor Shesterkin, Vezina quality, and he just can't get it right against the Oilers. He's got an .886 career save percentage. And then shout out Oilers Nation reporter, goalie reporter, Liam Horban. He's 2 for 2 on these goaltender reports. You see it there on your screen. Last game, he told us to go blocker side on Karel Vejmelka because he's left-handed, the devil. But this one, and he was dead accurate on that one. And then here we are with Igor Shesterkin. You look at it. So they want to point out, you got to go high ear. You got to go high ear on the guy, left ear specifically. High glove is an area as well. And then low blocker. 17 of 19 stops so far this season. Maybe a little Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Death taxes low blocker. This man is beatable. The Oilers have beat him plenty in the past. But I would lie to you if I said I wasn't nervous tonight, Pangs.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Norris Trophy. Sorry, he probably could be a Norris Trophy. He's a Vezina Trophy winner there. And he's a high caliber goalie in this league. He's dangerous. Night in, night out, he's dangerous. But I think when the Oilers face such a high-quality netminder like Igor Shesterkin, they're doing their pregame pep talks maybe in a group chat beforehand. They're getting ready in the morning. So I think they're going to be ready to face this netminder tonight.
Absolutely. Let's go now. Greta away lineup brought to you by Greta Bar Anywhere. I was just at Greta Bar YVR in downtown Vancouver. Banger was sick. It's 2 levels. The TJ booth was electric. I got my entire bill covered by the management staff out there. They're absolute studs. Greta just does unreal stuff. They're consistent all over the country. The next Greta I need, been to Calgary, I've been to Edmonton, I've been to Vancouver. I need to make it to Toronto. Pretty sure that one is either 2 stories or 3 stories. Nice. It's massive. Shout out Greta. Also shout out the spicy vodka rigatoni pasta that they now have on their menu. Still haven't got it. Still can't stop thinking about it. Bert, pull it up for me. What we expect to be the Rangers lineup this evening. Your top line, Artemi Panarin, who I benched in fantasy. So let's have an awful night with Mika Zibanejad and Will Cooley. We Googled the pronunciation today on ONE. It is Cool-E, not Cully, Cooley. Then your second line, Connor Sheary with JT Miller. Expect him to be seeing some McDavid matchups with Alexis Lafreniere. Your third line, Juuso Parssinen with Noah Laba. Love that name. And Taylor Radish. Fourth line, Adam Enstrom with former Oilers Sam Carrick. Anytime goal, anybody. And Johnny Brodzinski. And then your deep pairings, Vlad Gavrikov with Adam Fox. Solid first pairing. Carson Soucy with Will Borgen. And then Euro Vakanainen with Braden Schneider. So the Rangers, what's plagued them this year? It's quite obvious. You look at their underlying stats. You even look at their obvious stats. They cannot score goals. They have been offensively stifled, snake bitten, whatever you want to say this season. They have already been shut out 3 times this year. They actually have 2 shutouts of their own. So 5 out of their 11 games have resulted in a shutout. And it's weird for a team. When you look at that top 6, there's boasting a fair amount of talent up there. We all know Artemi Panarin, what he's capable of doing. We saw firsthand JT Miller, what he's capable of for years here in the Pacific Division. It's been weird. Shout out Michael Menzies once again, because he pointed out the fancy stats, the analytical numbers are saying that they are getting in position. They are getting the chances. They are just unable to finish. In fact, only 1 of their 11 games have they been outchanced high danger at 5v5. You go back to the game against the Oilers. It was just a result of Stuart Skinner standing on his head, and the Oilers scored 2 goals in that hockey game, and they got the W. We know what the Rangers are capable of. I would hate to be the get-right team for them. You know that's what they're looking for. That's what they're asking for. We just saw the Oilers possibly have one against the Mammoth. I'm sure they're frothing at the mouth to try and get some offense, and this team is capable of. I'm nervous, Pangs. I'm nervous. I get the numbers never lie, I'll say, of these fancy stats. This Rangers team is too good for them to stay like this.
Yeah, when they're getting that many high danger chances, the law of averages suggests that the dam is going to break at some point. So that being said, the Oilers cannot take them lightly tonight. That means attention to the defensive zone, execution, nice passes out of the zone, and having your head on a swivel. Because when you have a guy like Artemi Panarin just free and unblocked in the front, he's gonna pop one in on you.
Final one, Bert, pull up the lineup one more time. Go around the room. Who's our player to watch? I'm picking Sam Carrick. That's the guy I'm going for. He's actually had a pretty good season thus far, and I believe he scored in their last game against the Vancouver Canucks. Hey, we know the lore. We know the history. Sam Carrick's the guy to watch. Pang, what about you?
JT Miller. You know what? I don't like JT Miller. I really don't.
No, I hate his guts.
But 2 years ago in the playoffs against the Oilers, he was a dog. And I think he's got a little bit of vendetta going up against Connor McDavid. So we'll probably see the best of him tonight.
I see some people in chat. Yeah, Maynard Carrick has been so good in New York. Also, his maple syrup is top notch. Shout out to Carrick Bros. Really Bert, player to watch.
I'm going with Noah Laba today, a guy that is filling a role that they expect him to fill, but as a young guy, like he's fought his way onto this lineup and has stayed in this lineup for a reason. Very interesting name that I keep hearing out of New York, so I'm going with a good old great name in Noah Laba. But gotta watch a Noah Laba.
That's fun to say. Noah Laba.
Yabba dabba.
I can't wait for Jack or Louie to give me some nice. Oh, maybe Gene will give us something about
yabba dabba, yabba dabba, yabba dabba, Noah Laba.
Exactly, Brett. Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, let's go now, boys, to Bordzy's Bankroll, brought to you by Bet365. Download the app today because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Hope you've been betting on the Blue Jays lately, folks. Hope you've been betting Vladimir Guerrero Jr. home runs. Let me get that correct here. Shout out Bet365, whatever the moment, never ordinary. Must be 19 plus. Please play responsibly. As I am joined by, hey Pence, what's up, buddy?
Excited to watch some hockey.
Just something ordinary going on here. Bert, pull up for me if you could. Bordzy's Bankroll. So I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to get my teeth kicked in lately on Bet365, except for the Blue Jays. You know, I've been making it well back there. But the last game we had on Tuesday, Bert, if you correct me if I'm wrong, but I had 3 red X's, I do believe. I didn't like that. I didn't like that one bit. But tonight I started to change the juju up. I had Liam Horban help me out a little bit. This is his game day bet on ONE. Your first option, the Edmonton Oilers, over 3.5 total goals. That's just for the oil. I get Chesty is an all-time goalie. But the Oilers have his number. They've had it before. And from what I saw in the second period against the Mammoth, I like the Oilers. That one's at plus 115. Pretty juiced, if you ask me. And if they're going to score 4 goals, I think Connor McDavid is going to get in on the action at 2+ points. Boys, we're not at plus money yet, but that is minus 105 for McDavid, 2 points. It doesn't get better than that. And then finally, Leon Draisaitl, 3+ shots at minus 180. He's been ripping the puck lately. I saw he looked more engaged than ever on Tuesday's game against the Mammoth. And a little bit of 11-7 never hurt anyone for Leon Draisaitl ripping the pill. Sean, Pangs, what do you think of these 3 bets? What do you like the most?
I like all 3 of those bets, but there's one bet that you didn't talk about that I like even more, which is Kevin Gausman over 5.5 strikeouts tomorrow.
All right, let's talk about it. Toronto Blue Jays 1 game away from the World Series. How you doing? How you doing, Coom? Oh, shit, I said it.
Who?
How you doing, Pangs? How you doing, Pangs?
Oh, great. Just walking on a cloud. Just good vibes only. I've only ever seen teams I cheer for losing these championships. I've never seen a team up 3-2 in a championship series before. The Oilers have been down 3-0, 3-1. Last year they were down, I think they were ahead, 2-1 or something?
And you're not a basketball guy, so you didn't the Raps.
Yeah, Raptors, I can't really claim that as one of my favorite teams. That was a cool thing, but this is the closest I've been to watching a championship in my life.
So let me ask you, A, how dope is Trey Savage?
Yeah.
22 years old, born in 2003. I looked it up last night.
That's
Freddie
insane.
Freeman's born in 1989. That's crazy.
I remember 2000.
He's half his nice. Freddie Freeman. He's so much older than the guy. Freddie Freeman's gonna be a first ballot Hall of Fame. Same with Mookie Betts. Same with Shohei Ohtani. And Savage yesterday was just lining him up and knocking him down. What can you say about his wild performance? Like, you look at the arms that the Dodgers have, and I understand Yamamoto also went the complete game, but Savage, that was a gutsy performance on the road. That was all-time stuff. I'm going to remember that game forever.
All-time stuff for any pitcher, let alone somebody who started the year in low A Dunedin, moved up to high A Vancouver, then double A New Hampshire, then triple A Buffalo, started in the major leagues finally in the middle of September when the Jays were trying to win the division. And then here he is. They just keep on going. He just keeps on pitching well. I mean, he has a great supporting cast around him. I think you got future Hall of Famer like Max Scherzer. I think he was born in like 1945. You have a guy like that around just to talk about like interesting things that have happened, been in the World Series many times. Like, the Jays have a good veteran group for a young guy like that.
I'll say Mad Max. We know why they call him that. He's a little bit of a head case. He's earned it. First ballot Hall of Fame guy again. I see a little bit of that in Trey Savage. Yeah. When he is in the dugout and no one is looking at him, no one's talking to him, he's got the crazy eyes going on. I'm like, yeah, he's getting 2 strikeouts this inning upcoming. Savage, unbelievable start to the season, his career, I guess is what you could say. End of the postseason. Coombsy, my question to you: do the Jays get it done in Game 6, or is this one going 7?
I don't know. I don't even know how to make a prediction for that. I thought
you're such a nervous wreck. I've never seen you you're I think more nervous, anxiety riddled during this than the Oilers.
Yeah, baseball is just a different level of fucked up. You just kind of know that the sport's sort of designed to break your heart. So if the Jays are going to do what the Jays do, then they would blow a 3-2 lead. But I'm not going to put that into the universe. So I'm predicting the Jays will get it done on Friday. I don't want this thing to go 7.
I predict that the Jays are getting it done in 7. I think this just has it written all over it. Give me maximum baseball, maximum dramatics. It's going to be wild. I'm sweating just thinking about it and talking about it. Brett?
Dodgers in 7.
What did you say at the beginning of the show?
Dodgers in 7.
Don't make me pull back the tape because he said some things.
Dodgers
final questions, though, gentlemen. What's the score going to end tonight? And who is getting on the board for the Oilers? Or you can pick the Rangers, but I would judge you heavily if you did so. Score prediction, anytime goal score.
The Oilers are going to win this thing. I think it's going to be a low-scoring 3-1 win with an empty netter. And I think Leon Draisaitl is going to score again. He's been rolling.
I have over 3.5 total goals for the Oilers. So I need the Oilers to figure out Shesterkin here.
7-2 Oil, Jake Wallman goal.
That's the kind of score I'm talking about, Brett. I appreciate that. Yeah. Talk to me. Fire me up. Got me feeling nicey, John Gruden style. For me, I'm gonna go 5-2 for the Edmonton Oilers. I think it's the most common score that I predict, and it's just one stinker possibly from Stuart Skinner. The Oilers. Oh God, I have to sneeze.
That was cute.
Oilers find their game. You can't stop me during the middle of a read here. The Oilers find their game. I think they might find their way on the power play. Obviously, last game, they only had the one opportunity, didn't get it done. But I feel like the big dogs are feeling it right now. And here we go. Now we roll on leaving Oiltober into November. For me, 5-2 Oilers with a Jack Roslovic anytime goal. 10th game of the season. It's time for him to get it right. Maynard says 4-3 Oilers with a Matthew Savoy goal.
10 is in between which two numbers?
9 and 11, Coombsy. Danny Chandler, 88, is in and says 4-2 Davo. Buff Snelda says 5-2 Oil. Fighting Amish, 5-3 Oily Boys. 2 people predicting a Matt Savoy goal in the chat. Justine, 4-1. McDavo goal. Oil 4-3 from Alex. Parker Harrison going with a Rico first goal, which on a silver stick presented night. Coombsy, where were you when you saw Adam Henrique's 1,000th game?
I remember last year when we were sitting here watching Oliver Ekman-Larsson suit up for his 1,000th game with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I thought, wow, one day maybe we'll get to see somebody play their 1,000th NHL game.
Special.
And here we are. This is going to be a game we never forget. Like, it might overshadow the World Series this weekend.
It might. Rico, we love you. I'm also down with a Rico anytime goal tonight.
Me too.
I
like it.
He's got 5 points, 2 goals in 11 games thus far. It's his night. It's written all over it. Back on home ice, 11 and 7. A little bit more ice time. I like that Rico bet there from Parker Harrison. But that will do it for us here on Pregaming with Bordzy, brought to you by Bet365. Throw down your courtesy like on the way out. Our YouTube algorithm, we got dinged recently on Oilers Nation Every Day. We were playing, I think, just too many highlights. We gave proper credit. Throw down your like. maybe engage, maybe make a comment. That helps us so much, and I love and appreciate every one of you. We will be live right here on the ON YouTube for ONAD for postgame, hopefully talking about the Oilers scoring of 4+ goals this evening. Shout out to Pangs. Shout out to the hot dog. Shout out to Brett. Shout out to the Blue Jays as well. Hopefully, we're going to talk here for Oilersnation After Dark. There will be more Jays talk. It's all I can think about. But people, I love you, and we will talk in a couple of hours. Good luck on the Bet365 Battlegrounds, and we will talk in a bit.